Well, I'm here today with Alan Minster, partner at Frontline Advisors. And Alan, you and I had a conversation about integrated efforts, integrated marketing efforts, and why they're important. But here's the next logical question, and that is, how do you develop? How does any given company develop a well-planned, integrated marketing effort?
Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to answer the question, who is your ideal prospect? And that's important because if you're selling business to business, you have to know what size of company, you need to know who is the decision maker. And we found that most of the time within a company, there's a lot of people that can say no, but only one or two have the authority to say, yeah, you're the person that I want to do business with. You're the company that we want to be our partner in this. So you have to decide, first of all, who is the prospect? Second thing you need to decide is, why should they buy from you rather than the last guy that was in the door? What unique value do you bring? What unique selling proposition do you have that motivates this guy to entrust you with his business?
That's right.
Once you have the picture of that, then acquiring a list of that's pretty straightforward. I mean, you can, there's all kinds of resources available for that. But if you don't have a clear picture in your mind of who that prospect is, and secondly, why they should buy from you, there's no way to integrate the next part of that, which what is your message? People tend to overcomplicate marketing strategy. But developing an integrated marketing strategy is really answering four questions. First of all, who is the target? Specifically. What's their title? What's the size of the company? Everything that you can know about this prospect. And sometimes we go too big and sometimes we go too small, and sometimes small is exactly who that ideal prospect is, and sometimes major accounts are. But the marketing effort is different depending upon that. So you need to decide who is your ideal customer.
Okay.
Once you've decided that, and you've figured out what your unique selling proposition is, the next answer to the question is, how frequently do you need to contact this prospect who you've determined to be qualified? You know he's not interested or he'd be calling you, but he's qualified to buy what you sell. Then you answer the question, how often would you like to contact this prospect in a given year? And let's say, for instance, you think that you need to contact this prospect once a month to develop top-of-the-mind awareness and to get some name recognition with this person whom you've determined is qualified. Then you say, okay, if we were going to integrate this, how many of these should be direct letters, direct mail pieces? What enclosures do we want to put in there? Business card, flyer, reprint of an article? What do we want that to look like? And let's say, for instance, of those 12 contacts, you want 4 to be letters. Let's figure out what the content of those letters is, and let's weave that unique selling proposition into all of those communications.
Yes, that's right.
Then you say, okay, I'd like 4 of those to also be emails. Well, you do the same thing. Figure out what the content is, and you actually flow chart this out. So now you got 8 of the 12. You'd like the salesperson to call at least once or twice a year. So now you're up to 10. And you want to send 2 postcards out. But this is all thought out in advance. And that's how you come up with a playbook. Playbooks make your life so much easier because as a manager or a business owner, when you hire a new salesperson, you can say, here's how we go to market.
Right.
I have never worked for a sales manager in my life that didn't say plan your work and work your plan. Right? Second level question, what's the plan? Wander around out in the territory hoping to find somebody that's ready to buy is not a plan. And it certainly isn't an integrated marketing strategy. What we need to do as managers and business owners in collaboration with our sales team is figure these things out in advance. How many letters will we, even down to what you should say on the phone. About 80% of the time, if you're calling business to business, you're going to get voicemail.
That's right.
You just are.
Yeah.
And so many times, salespeople just leave silly, inane messages like, I'm just calling to touch base with you or some. Give this guy a reason to call you back.
Yeah, they haven't planned anything.
No.
And so they view it as a failure, I failed to contact him. In reality, it's an opportunity to leave a well-planned message.
It is. And if you don't do that, you have to, when a well-planned message has to weave in your unique selling proposition, which is targeted, and it gives this person a reason to call you back, to learn more, or to schedule an appointment, or whatever your outcome is. I grew up hearing, from my early sales trainers, sales is a numbers game. The problem is when it comes to following up on the phone, if you think sales is a numbers game, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get through them as quickly as you can.
That's right.
Rather than having a conversation or giving this guy an opportunity to call you back. And it's a big mistake.
I want to ask you about something. You talked about deciding how many times you need to contact somebody and with what frequency. How do you find out what that appropriate number is for your company?
I think that you're walking the fine line between developing top-of-mind awareness with this prospect or becoming a pest.
Okay.
And people say frequently, well, I don't want to be a pest. I don't want to contact them once a month. Well, there's two ways you get around becoming a pest. First of all, changing up, which is another reason to integrate the marketing strategy. And making sure that your message is consistent and making sure that you are giving them relevant content. There is nothing more annoying or puts you in the pest list faster than doing the same thing over and over and over again, email me, but not changing up. And then the content doesn't mean anything. Or I leave a voicemail, it doesn't say anything. That's when you
It just becomes a blur.
It does, and it becomes annoying.
So I think what you're saying is, and probably some of this depends on what you know about a typical buying cycle, about how frequently somebody makes a purchase of your type of product, and so that can weave into the logic of this frequency. But you're also saying mix it up. So you determine what does it mean to be a pest, dial it back, and mix it up.
Yes, and you have to do that. And so important to think about what your message is, Steve. I can't emphasize that enough. Why should this person get on the buyer side of the desk? Even in your communications, stop saying things like, I would like to arrange a time to meet with you. This guy doesn't care what you would like.
That's right.
Give him a reason to meet with you.
That's right.
And people are just that way. I don't know.
Alan, thanks for sharing with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for your time, Steve. I appreciate it.